Do we really have a responsibility to prove the religious wrong, or is it their responsibility to prove themselves right? I talk about this coming up next. This is something that I think we've all seen online, and something that deserves to be addressed, and that's the very common theistic shifting of the burden of proof. They can't prove that their beliefs are true, but they demand that we have to prove them wrong, as though their beliefs are the baseline, and we have to show something else is true. But that's just not how rational people operate. It works in absolutely no situations, in absolutely no arguments, for anything, anywhere. You don't just get to assume that whatever you believe is right until someone else proves you wrong. So, once again, we return to the clear and undeniable problem that the religious, no matter what they claim, no matter what they do, are simply not operating rationally when it comes to their religious beliefs. And being rational, and it's sad I have to keep saying this and defining words because the religious keep pretending that it makes sense to them, that it has to be rational. But being rational in this kind of situation means that you take no position, none at all, until you have good reason to do so. And that good reason isn't emotions, it isn't wishful thinking, it has to come from evidence. Solid, objectively verifiable evidence. And whether they like it or not, the religious don't have any of that. Instead, the religious insist that because their beliefs make them feel good, they have to be true. No proof required, no support necessary. It's a fact because feelings. And then because they have adopted this position with no intelligent thought whatsoever, now they insist that they have to be dissuaded from this unsupported belief that they shouldn't hold in the first place, which is not only irrational, but it's fallacious. It's shifting the burden of proof. Whether they like it or not, it is their responsibility and their responsibility alone to prove themselves correct via evidence, logic, and critical thinking. It is not and will never be my responsibility to prove their unsupported beliefs wrong. But I can't tell you how many times of late I've had the religious say that it's my duty to prove their emotionally held beliefs wrong. There was a long-running thread over on Reddit where one guy who, granted, is probably a troll that I've since blocked, kept insisting that until atheists can prove that there is no God, that somehow means that one exists. And no matter how much some of us tried to explain that's just not how rational thought works, he persisted, mostly I think due to his trolling. But this is where, if you can't tell the difference between someone who is trolling and someone who is serious, then maybe the troll is closer to the truth than many people would like to admit. So, we get back to the rational portion of our show, which demands that before taking any idea into your head, you test it to see if it is most likely correct. It doesn't matter if it makes you feel good. In fact, feelings often get in the way of making rational decisions. Just look at all the women out there in abusive relationships where they get beaten and emotionally abused by men who cheat on them, who mistreat them and really don't care about them, but they stay because he loves me. Yeah, not so much. It's not a rational decision to remain with an abuser any more than it's a rational decision to believe something without evidence. And I think we all know why they do this. It's an emotional defense mechanism. They know, at least on some level, that they can't actually defend their beliefs, that they have no evidence to present and no arguments to make that will stand up to the damning light of reason. So they pretend to hold the default position that they will not deviate from unless someone convinces them that they're wrong. And let's be honest, nobody can ever prove to them that they're wrong. Never mind that they've never proven themselves to be right in the first place. That doesn't seem to matter to them. They're convinced, and because they're convinced, even for terrible reasons, that's all it takes. It's why debating these people is like playing chess with a pigeon. It just keeps knocking over the pieces and crapping on the board. You'll never get anywhere because you're not talking to a rational person. So anyhow, what do you think? Do you run into the "you have to prove me wrong" crowd as often as I do? Let me know your stories in the comments. Because this is one of those things that seems to be escalating of late, with more and more theists pretending that they hold the intellectual high ground, when frankly, I don't think they can even see it from where they are. I don't know that there's any way to stop this kind of absurdity, because, as we all know, you can't reason someone out of a position they didn't reason themselves into in the first place. But maybe you have. Let me know. I'd love to have a discussion. And if you're a theist who believes that others have to prove you wrong, let me know that too. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button and that bell notification, and if you can, I have both a Patreon and Maker Support account linked below. I'd appreciate your help and support. So, until next time, take care and think rationally and critically. It's the only way to get bad ideas out of your head and improve the world.